Welcome to Fabulous Past 60. And here we're back again to Channel 36. And today we have a great show and my wonderful guests are to my right. And I have my co-host here, which is Mr. Charles Adikoff, and he's 94 years young.
Way to go,
right
Charles.
Here. And then besides Charles, I have Mr. Jim Stevens and Marvin Rosenberg. And we have a lot to cover in a short time, but I'd like to just say a couple words really fast to you. And I started the show just to let people know how wonderful we are at Past 60 and not to forget about us. Because we're ready to rock and roll and we're not ready for that rocker, believe me. But there's such a stigma out there. And I want us to voice our opinion. And I've been working hard at it, and it's difficult. Sometimes I hit my head up against the wall and say, hey, do you want to stop? But no, I'm continue on with the show. And we're going to start because I have these great guests, Jim, okay, and Marvin. I did ask them before what motivated you. They belong to a group called the Safaris.
That was before any of their time.
And I'll just say the Safari group was formed in 1959. And before we go on any further, what motivated you, as Jim first and then Marvin, to get in the music industry? What motivated you?
Well, I've been singing as far back as I can remember. I was a boy soprano when I was 10 years old, singing in the church choir, and which was right down the street from where I lived in Van Nuys. I grew up in the Valley, so I went to Van Nuys Junior High, Van Nuys High School. At that time in the 50s, Van Nuys High School was the Beverly Hills of high schools, So all the celebrities, because all the celebrities lived in the Valley, so all their kids went to Van Nuys High School. So it was a big, fun, artsy school. And
so do you think by singing in the choir, that's what motivated you or to start into the music industry?
When I was in junior high, I took up some musical instruments. So I played in the band in junior high, but then when I got into high school, I got interested in the double quartet, eight guys. It was called the Lobos because it was a double quartet. That was
How about your family? Anyone in music in your family?
My father was a singing waiter, but that was.
He didn't sing around the house
years
or
ago.
anything
No.
Nothing
He was
like
an
that.
insurance man by then when I was growing up. So no, there was really no music. Well, my sister, I have an older sister. She sang a little bit.
Okay.
But I was kind of the one that.
You were one that wanted to move
Yeah,
on.
that kept on going. So I sang in the choir and all through high school.
Okay, how about you, Marvin?
Well, my interest was really a little bit different since I don't have the voice like Jim has. But back then in the 50s and so forth, a lot of kids just always had a dream of, getting together and trying to make, hit records. And after school, I would get a few of my friends together and bang on the piano, didn't even know any music. So it was kind of a dream that I always had and something that I always worked for.
That's what I like, the dream. I talk about the dream. You had the dream then. Can I touch your hand?
Why not?
Okay. I did that spontaneous, okay. You had the dream then and now you're still continuing with your dream. This is what I mean. It goes on. It doesn't end. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, that's true.
I had to say that.
But yeah, everybody has to have a dream. And so, you give up stuff. I remember we made a tape, a bunch of us, and I must have been 11 years old. I packed my lunch, which was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I walked to Hollywood, and I used to knock on doors of record companies and said, would you listen to this tape? And of course they said, come back in 5 years, kid. But the tape was terrible, but we thought it was great. And but as we kept at it, still always had a dream until 1960 when I was 17 and we're in our late teens, when we finally had a big hit record. It was like a dream come true.
So tell me, you must have had a hot agent pushing you at that time or something. Or did you make the connections with the record companies, or did you have an agent then or a manager or what?
No, we never had an agent. We did it all on our own.
You did it all on your own?
Knock, knock, yeah.
In those days, that's kind of the way it was done.
And handshake deals?
Well, I don't even remember shaking a hand. It's just that I liked the song, decided to record it. Hal Zeiger, in effect, became our manager. He was the owner of the record company, Aldo Records.
Okay.
And he managed, he booked Ray Charles whenever Ray Charles came into town. And he really lined up all the shows at El Monte Legion Stadium, which is now the post office. But El Monte Legion Stadium in 1959 and 60, that was kind of the hotbed of all the Southern California acts.
You know what
So
the-
we got into
And you
that.
know what the real big difference is? Back then, music was pleasure to sing. We did it because we enjoyed it, not so much the business end of it. You know, nobody knew anything about the business. But today, you know, everything is all, you know, business. And,
Right, and
know,
you
all
have
that.
the stress
But we did
level
it
and everything.
for the love of the music, and Jim for the love of singing, and you know, to share the joy of it all.
Uh-huh.
So it was the process back then that we really loved.
But tell me, getting back into it today, do you find it a little difficult? A lot of difficulty, right? Than it was years ago.
Big diff.
And I'll bring it up again. Don't you think age is a big factor today? I know we're in the mecca of beautiful Hollywood and everything, but all the big cities are like this. Like I said, you reach even 50 today, you're old. So, did you hear that, folks? Even 40, they say you're old. We've got to change this. This is why we got to change this.
And yet for our
This is-
music,
What?
doo-wop, particularly Southern California doo-wop, there is such a love of that music from the 60s that wherever we go, we pack them in because the people love that music and there's still a crowd that loves it, regardless of where we go. We didn't perform on the East Coast much until just a few years ago. And when we went back there, they loved us.
They still like it. You know,
Yeah.
you have the people coming back with the Beach Boys, and there was another group. You know, they're still.
Well, the theme of your program, you know, past 60, is all those people grew up with that kind of music, and even after 60, even 90, 90 plus, you know, they remember the music, and to see it come alive.
It makes you feel good. Not only that, you can
Absolutely.
understand it.
Can I break in here for a minute?
Please
You
do.
know, I'm a man of very few words, but when I have something to say, you mentioned something about safari at the beginning, right? The only thing I ever knew about safaris is when we took a trip to Africa to go on a safari. So how did you guys come up with safari?
Yeah.
That's
how
how
did
we
you-
got our name, as a matter of fact.
Because
Funny you
of
should
that?
mention that. Well, when we started showing our song around town, Lou Adler, Herb Alpert, you know, and the guys over at Dory Records,
Lou Bedell.
Lou Bedell, they all they heard it and they liked it and said, maybe, you know, who knows. But then we showed it to these people down on Vine Street, Hal Zeiger, Eldo Records, and they liked it. And they said, you know, let's record that. But we didn't have a name. So they had a band as part of their label called the Masked Phantoms Band. And they would dress up in their purple tights, you know, with the masks, just like the Masked Phantom in the comic book, going on safari in Africa. So the Masked Phantoms Band backed us up. Let's call you the Safaris. That's how we got our name.
Fine,
Good
I'm
question.
glad you brought that up. Now I know what we're talking about.
And that was 2 years, and, you know, and then of course when the surf craze came in 2 years later, another group, a surf group, kind of took off, and they called themselves the Surfaris. Sometimes people
Right.
nowadays get us confused with the Surfaris, and so we say we're the Safaris. Oh, you did Wipeout? No, that's the Surfaris. They had 2 hits, we had 1 hit.
So tell me, my favorite show years ago was Bandstand. Love with Dick Clark.
Uh-huh.
And you said you were on that.
We were on it
Bandstand.
when he came out
Great show.
to L.A. A lot of the local groups of the day, he wanted to book in the Dick Clark show. So it was the Crosby Brothers. I don't know if you remember them or not.
Of course.
Dennis and
We know
Lindsay
those, of
and
course.
Gary comes,
Uh-huh.
and Dodie Stevens, I think, was on there.
Dodie.
Jimmy Rogers.
Yes,
Jimmy Rogers,
Rogers.
that's right. The Fendermen, they had Mule Skinner Blues. The Hollywood Argyles, they had that big novelty hit, Alley Oop, and then the Safaris, and we were on it. So
Yeah, and the Platters were around that time
the
too.
Platters were around, yes. Of course, they were all over the place.
Right. You know, their concept of bandstand, that's what we should have. Something like that today in LA, to keep the kids off the street, do the same type of program. Wouldn't that be great?
Well, one radio station that really took a hold of our record was KRLA. And they had the DJs at the time, Jimmy O'Neill, Frosty Harris, Sam Riddle, Wink Martindale. Jimmy O'Neill, yeah. Wink Martindale had his show at POP, Pacific Ocean Park, and we did a lot of that. So that was kind of the West Coast version of the televised sock hop. And then Sam Riddle.
But what year? When?
60.
In the 60s.
Yeah,
That's what
in
I
60.
said. Yeah.
And then Sam Riddle would have his show at Pasadena Civic Auditorium, and we would do that once in a while. That wasn't televised. But Wink Martindale, I think, had the old POP show, Pacific Ocean Park. We did that a couple of times. Then, of course, where was Hullabaloo from?
Oh, yeah, I remember that
That
one.
was on
Hullabaloo.
TV, yeah.
That was
That
on
But
came
I
in
don't- was that
after the
from
Beatles and Jimmy
Philly,
O'Neill.
or was that stemmed from LA? I don't know.
No,
I
think
I
it was.
remember that name,
I think it was
Hullabaloo.
here, but
Don't
you
you
know, it was a
remember that
big,
show?
big show.
Hullabaloo?
Jimmy O'Neill hosted it, and they brought
But-
over all the acts from England and so forth and so on.
Yeah.
So.
But nothing like Bandstand.
Oh, nothing like that. But it would be so difficult getting something together like that today.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Get the gangs off the streets, have that. It would be wonderful. Right after school, straight to Bandstand.
Yeah. Right.
Music sure
mean,
different today, though.
Oh, please.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Like I said, it was good because you could understand the lyrics. And the lyrics meant something, you
Mm.
know?
Yes.
Of course, every time when I say that, it does show my age and everything. But, you know, it's the truth.
You're
And it
over
was-
60, what do you want?
Of course.
And it was all
of
good
course.
dance, all good dance music. Our music, our songs were mostly slow, the good doo-wop stuff. Great dance music, you know.
Very romantic.
Very
Romantic.
And the
Oh, yeah.
lyrics. So tell
Oh,
me,
yeah.
who wrote the lyrics to Image of a Girl?
I did.
Okay, would you tell me something about, tell our audience about that, how that
Yeah, I'll-
started?
I'll be
And-
glad to.
Okay, excuse me,
Yeah.
again, before you did, I asked you something about your marriage and what happened, and then you made a comment like the music business interfered with it and the jealousy started in. And some women get jealous when someone's very popular or they go heavy into the music industry because they have to spend a lot of time away.
Well, that's true.
And the women.
And that's kind of what happened because I was rehearsing a lot with music, and I had a girlfriend. And after rehearsing all day on a Saturday, I remember going over her house, and she said, "You know, I'm getting sick and tired of this. You know, you spend all this time on music. Is it me or the music?"
Oh my goodness.
And I said, "Well, if you want to take away the one thing that I really love, you must not love me very much." And
Uh-huh.
I felt very sad, and I went in her back room and lie down in the bed and just looked up and said, "Why can't I find that perfect image of a girl?" And then I heard they had one of those loud clocks ticking and water dripping in the sink.
Uh-huh.
And I went and got a piece of paper and wrote the whole thing there. In fact, I still have that original piece of paper.
Amazing.
So, and
What are some of those lyrics? The Image of a Girl.
as I lie awake resting from the day, I can hear the clock passing time away. Oh, I couldn't sleep, for on my mind was the image of the girl that I hope to find.
Wow.
You want more? No.
Did you ever-
That-
As I lie awake, resting from the day, I can hear the clock passing time away. Oh, I couldn't sleep, for on my mind was the image of the girl I hope to find.
Did you ever
That's
find her?
heavy
Did
duty.
you ever find
That's
her?
romantic.
Did I ever find
the
her?
girl that you?
Well, I made a few mistakes along the way, but
Like all of us.
It's better than not making any.
Like
You're
all of us,
right.
right?
we have to learn young.
Yeah.
That story reminds me of that country song that was out a couple of years ago about the guy who loved to fish. And he got married, and every day he was out fishing.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was Brad Paisley. And every day he was out fishing, and he loved to fish. And his wife got fed up with. She says, "I hate you going out fishing every day. You know, you're gonna have to make up your mind. It's either fishing or me." And he says, "I'm gonna miss her.
Oh, that's hard. Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
miss her."
To do a decision like that, I mean, they should be happy when you're into something because it's very romantic. I mean, it's music. It's not another woman. Well,
Yeah.
it can be in a way when you write. It can
Well,
be.
you haven't heard the end of the story.
Okay, sorry.
After the record took off, 2 months later, And of course, we were very young. She called me up and said her and her mother were moving, and they wanted to know if I wanted to buy the bed that I wrote the song in.
That's funny. That is funny. Oh, God. Anyhow, what happened? Oh, let me read off so that people know. The Image of a Girl, that was 1960. Then after that was Girl with the Story in Her Eyes. Did you write the lyrics for that?
No.
Who wrote those lyrics?
Somebody named Bob Roberts.
Every time I see her face, when I'm in the marketplace, she never laughs, she never cries, with the story in her eyes.
He had
Okay.
written songs for Annette and Elvis Presley, as a matter of fact.
Okay. In the Still of the Night.
That's a standard.
That was a cover of the Five Satins song, In the Still of the Night, which was real popular in the 50s. We decided to cover it, and we kind of tweaked it a little bit, kind of made our own.
Okay.
In the still of the night, I held you tight, 'cause I love
Next one. I love that title. Soldier of Fortune.
Yeah, I wrote the lyrics.
Where did you get the lyrics from that one? What's
I can't remember, to be honest with you, because we were touring so much and we would write real fast.
Well, people get,
just-
like I said, the
again,
feeling and inspiration
All
from
the
maybe
songs
association.
seem to
or-
be about wanting to find, that if you find the one you love, things are going to be great.
Well, that's, and I hate to say this again, that's the way it was years ago.
Absolutely.
Finding the one that you love.
Yeah.
That was it. Simple.
Soldier of fortune, that's what they call me. Always I walk alone.
Those songs were follow-ups to Image of a Girl, but actually the flipped side of Image of a Girl, everybody loved. And it was an up-tempo thing called Four Steps to Love. They wrote that too. But at the time we recorded it, we only had 2 songs, so we had to put that song on the back. We should have saved that for our second single.
Yeah,
Who
a
knows what our,
couple of radio stations, they turned it over and it reached #1.
who knows what our career would have been
Yes.
like.
So what are the 4 steps?
You,
We'll talk about that later.
You meet
right?
the girl.
You met a girl one day in school, and you knew that she was the girl for you. Now you found the first step to love. And yesterday you walked her up, and you said that no.
But it was a good
Okay,
song.
that's good. And then I have Legend of the Lost, Garden of Love, and
I belong to the Legion of the Lost. There's no turning back, for I have burned all the bridges I have crossed. Until you say your love is mine, then only then will I find the garden of love. Two shadows on your window shade break my heart in two. One shadow is a stranger, and the other one is you.
that I like.
Shadows was kind of a takeoff on Silhouettes. It was a story of, 2 lovers, the guy walking by and he sees his girlfriend with another guy, her silhouette on the
Silhouetted
on the shade,
Yeah.
But this was called Shadows. And
So it was all love music and everything.
oh yeah,
And did any of these songs, did they have a beat to it, or were they just the slow romantic numbers?
No,
Did you-
Girl with the Story in Her Eyes was kind of a
Cha-cha.
calypso kind of thing.
Calypso?
Reached, I think, 87 on the charts. but, you know, which is not considered a hit. But
Uh-huh.
it got a lot of airplay because it was our follow-up record.
Okay. Now they're doing work now. Just a few weeks ago, you were where again? You performed?
Well, I have a big band. I have a 16-piece big band that I perform with. I'm the male vocalist, but that's Sinatra and Bobby Darin and Dean Martin and all those kind of, you know, the good pop
Right.
standards.
16?
16-piece.
Wow.
Big band.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
that's
it's
a
good.
big band. How do you
Oh,
keep all of those
it's a
together?
world-class
now? That's
big
hard
band.
to keep those members together.
Oh no, we rehearse every week, and so we
The
we
love
keep
of the
into it.
music.
Yeah,
That's
it's
for
the
sure.
love of-
Love of the
So we did a
music.
show out in where I live in Simi Valley.
Simi Valley?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
That-
And
that
you
was good.
said, I think they're going to perform again New Year's Eve?
No, the Safaris will be
Oh,
performing
Safaris
New Year's Eve. Yeah, up
We're
in
back to
Liverpool.
the
Okay, you-
Safaris
With
now.
the Platters, as a matter of fact.
And
Where?
the Four
Where?
Preps
Four Preps.
in Livermore, the Livermore Performing Arts Center,
Which
in
is
the Bay Area.
Alameda County, up
Oh,
north.
hear that, folks?
But
That'll be
then
quick.
after the first of the year, we're going to be at Cerritos Performing Arts Center. We'll be at Thousand Oaks Civic Arts Plaza.
Okay.
We'll be at Palm Springs at McCallum. We'll be, you know, we're booked. See,
Oh,
so these
yeah. When will you be in Palm Springs?
after
January.
In January.
In January.
Mhm.
Okay.
By the
Write
way,
it down.
I will. I
Right
won't
now,
be
we'll
in
go in
town New
January.
Year's Eve, but boy, I'll be coming to Palm Springs.
you know what was also
We'll be-
big thrills for us is going back, we had the opportunity to sing at the Hollywood Bowl and the Greek Theater.
The Palladium.
When were you at the
and,
Hollywood Bowl?
Palladium. Way back when, but it was very exciting. They still had the water, I think, in front. I don't think they have that anymore, do they?
No.
Yeah. So
In the
that
Greek Theater?
That was very.
But we did the very first K-Earth, Legends of Rock and Roll, in 1988
At
at the Greek Theater.
yeah.
And that was their very first Legends of Rock and Roll, and then it became an annual K-Earth event.
Uh-huh.
We were on the first one.
Very good.
Nice place to play,
Okay.
the Greek.
I mentioned to you, there's something coming up. I have to ask Yvette from the station here, the manager. Something coming up here in West Hollywood through the Chamber. They're having a musical festival. Am I right?
Oh, I saw
In
that
the
on
back
one of the,
there,
saw that one on the
Raoul?
flyers, yeah.
I think it just passed this weekend.
Oh, I thought it was all this week. It's over?
I'm not too sure.
I think it said
Because
September
I-
10th to the 12th.
I was going to
Yeah,
mention that to
it's
you. You
done.
should
It was that
contact them.
weekend.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a,
my goodness. And what's that other show that's on KLTC where they have people come on and perform? Oh, it's on all the time for charities and everything.
The Jerry Lewis Telethon.
No, not Jerry Lewis. Not Jerry Lewis. It's on Jerry Lewis things. KT is connected with, oh,
I don't really know.
Sarah Brightman was on. They have all these entertainers come on and perform for charity.
Really?
Anyhow, if I hear of anything, I'll let you know.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool.
So people out there could remember this wonderful group, and like they said, they keep going on and on and on and on and on. Okay. Now, tell me your dream right now. Your musical dream.
Well, it's crazy because this record was 50 years ago. And for our shows, upcoming shows, we're going to have T-shirts made. The Safaris. 50 years and still going.
Yeah.
1960. ... I'm not going to
Oh,
put.
I
I'm
love
not going
it.
to. I'm not going to put 2010 because
No.
the show's in 2011. Then it'll be dated. So I'll put 1960. ... 50 years and still going. So 50 years ago. Wow, I'm a young 20-year-old, and I'm thinking, whoa, this is great. Number 2 in LA, number 1 in Chicago, number 4 in the country. And,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we were hot, see?
Yeah.
And I thought things were going to really take off. The head's out to here,
Of
and
course.
you're driving down with your convertible with Miss Northridge under your arm, and
Right.
it's big deal,
Uh-huh.
You flip the station around, and you're on 3 or 4 stations at one time. That was a big dream at that time. But, it kind of fizzled. And then I got married, had kids, got a job, really didn't do a lot of anything until just a few years ago when we did a PBS show. Well, we would do an occasional oldies show. But PBS called us the acts that had not been real prominent.
Uh-huh.
They wanted all of those groups on their show. So we went back to New Jersey. And they
So this
put it
was
on.
a timing thing, really.
Yes,
It was, the
and from
timing was
that,
right.
all of this has
That's-
happened. So this dream is finally now coming to fruition. We're busy, we're working, we're developing material.
Okay,
It's
what-
great.
Would you like, in the years to come, what would you like to do that you haven't done in the line of music?
Still be singing when I'm 94 years old.
When did you get married?
Oh my goodness. I got married right after Image was out. And a girl that I was going with while we were touring.
Excuse me, she didn't give you the choice.
She did not. She did not.
You made the choice.
And that lasted 24 years. And
So you've been a bachelor ever since?
no, I got married again. And
You mean you didn't learn the first time?
no, but I have learned now. After 2 times, I have
Let
learned.
me ask you, do you know what the biggest cause today of divorce is? The biggest cause is marriage. Did you know that?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, Marvin, in a good relationship. Anyhow. Okay, Marvin, what is your dream, or what do you want to do that you haven't done? Your dream now.
Well,
What?
I'm writing more, and I would love to kind of have another hit record 50 years later to show myself that I could change with the time.
Okay, all right.
And like Jim said, you know, kind of full circle where now we're starting to do shows again. It's like, you talk about after 60,
Mhm.
it's like reliving everything and all the people appreciating and enjoying. I mean, whenever we do shows, I always look at Jim, and Jim looks at me, because it's like a flashback of all the wonderful things that we experience that a lot of other people don't.
It's,
And,
can I mention, it's your thrill, like, it's the thrill of the music.
It's a thrill. You know,
Right.
I became very interested in the how people deal with success and the effects of music on people. I have a PhD in psychology, and I was very interested in research on musical preferences and how music really affects people, and kind of put
The power
those
of
things
music.
together. Yeah, so
Well, tell
I'm
me,
very fascinated with that.
Excuse me, you also, were you an attorney too?
No, one of the other
One
one
of
of
the other
our
gentlemen
deceased
were.
members was an attorney. Yeah.
Oh, boy, that's
So,
too bad. I only wish Annette Tucker was here. You love her,
Oh, yeah.
lyricist. She's the producer of the show, but there's a little personal matter that she had to tend to and everything, but you will meet her eventually too. And we discuss it all the time, the music business. It's not what it used to be.
That's
and
wonderful.
And we look at each other when we're performing because of how we came together at the very beginning. It was kind of a quirk. I was out in the valley. He was way down here in L.A. And the other 3 guys were down here. Marv, Rich, and Shell were all down here. And they had written this song. Then they were looking for somebody to sing it. Well, I was way out in Reseda and Northridge. I was going to school at Valley State College,
Uh-huh.
which is now California, Seaside, Northridge. And working my way through college at J.C. Penney's. But I was singing, you know, and I'd be...
singing in the store.
Of course, I was, because on Friday nights,
Yeah.
the place would be chaos. I was in charge of the men's section.
Oh,
And so on Friday nights, man, the place had just, like a tornado came through. So we'd go in early Saturday morning, an
Uh-huh.
hour before the store opened.
Right.
And we'd straighten up our section, you know, get it all ready for Saturday's business. Well, there was like 8 people in the store on Saturday morning. So, heck, I'm singing away and doing all my Sinatra and Bobby Darin and all kinds of things.
Uh-huh.
There's a girl that was in the women's section up in the mezzanine. She hears me, you know, echoing across the store. She knows these guys. So at break, you know, she comes up to me and she says, "Hey, Jimmy, I heard you singing." You know, she says, "I know 3 guys in L.A. that are looking for somebody to sing a song they wrote."
oh boy.
She gives me their phone number. I call them.
That was the start.
See, it doesn't have to
so
be
it's
in
like
the shower.
It's
could
like
be in a
it's like
department
the stool at Schwab's. You know, you're sitting on there, and somebody
someone
comes along
discovers you.
and discovers you.
Timing.
And then that's how we got together.
Timing and
but-
talent.
That's
And if
never
it-
true. It never happened.
And if it-
Line attorney.
But
I
you know,
know better.
it's a curious thing about life and how things happen and how things guide. You know, every little moment determines the rest of your life and how it goes, and that
But
that determined our life.
That's what the
Medicine.
excitement, we love the excitement and the thrill, the
Yep.
thrill of life. And that's what I say about past 60 people. Everybody has a thrill, no matter what it is. If it's not in the music industry, it's holding hands with someone, maybe it's your grandkids, walking on the beach, whatever it is. It's the thrill that keeps us going. it feeds us, you know, it's very fulfilling. And it makes us feel like, oh, we're going right to the top, right? Here, folks, come turn channel 36 on. Please watch us. We will not stop. We'll have many, many other shows. And I'm sure you enjoyed our guest today with Jim and Marvin.
So nice to be here.
Wonderful.
Good thing you're
Thank you
doing.
very much.
Having you guys here.
Good thing you're doing.
My favorite gentleman right over here. I keep telling him, Charles, we're going to over 100, dear. You have to keep kicking.
I got 30 years to go.
Me, I got 6 more years to go.
Six, at
To
least
be
six.
100.
At least six.
You know, I got at least.
In 30, I'll be 100.